have you all been in the situation where you've had to be like the sales engineer, where like there are times, like not often, like this used to happen more in the past, but like Josh and I would get called onto a call where they were trying to convince somebody to buy the software. Like, have you ever been in that position as a developer?
I am the salesperson, so me.
Well, there you go.
I'm the guy who does the demo, so there you go.
He better have been in that position, or he doesn't have a company anymore.
So, Preston, do you do a live demo for everybody who wants to buy the software, or are you at
Sure,
like the?
yeah.
Okay, so you won't record it and just hand it off.
I have recorded it. I offer it for, sign here, and then you can take a look at the pre-recorded demo. But people want to talk to someone live once they're serious about buying the product. So I'm like,
their use case is so unique and their own, yet also,
and it's just a level of additional trust. Hey, here's the person I've been working with. I can see their face. I can talk to them. I can ask all of our questions, and the meetings I have are never less than 5 people, because colleges and universities, it's a lot of committees and getting together. Right. So there's a lot of getting together and planning. All right, is this solution going to work for us or not? So, so the dollar amount is a little bit higher than your typical, one user SaaS product. So it's justified to be able to do, some of that. So
do you have any demo hacks? Like anything that you've like picked up along the way? You're like, I can't do.
I'm probably not that effective. I wouldn't ask me.
I only say because Josh is the best demo in the land, and so just putting it out there. Josh gives a really mean demo, so much so that we used to have every new employee who onboarded get a demo from Josh, and then we finally got around to recording it. But the annoying thing is engineering keeps adding features that product wants, and so that demo keeps changing. So
bloody engineers.
I know. Keep shipping software. It's annoying.
Evolving things. How dare they?
So, but I don't know if Chris has ever been involved in.
Yeah, I actually used to. Well, I mean, when I was CTO, I did a lot of talking to clients. I did way more of that than any actual technology stuff at that point. But the reason I was there is to be the technical part of the sales team. So I was often on. I usually wasn't. I wasn't doing like cold calls or initial conversations. But when they started saying, yeah, we want to buy, but we have a lot of questions about how this is going to work, I'd be in on the calls going, okay, well, this is how this is, and this is how this is.
And that's essentially what my demos are. When it gets to that point, that's when the live demo happens. Like the same point at which Chris would be brought in. When he was in his position.
See, I can't talk to customers because if I get a ticket, my first instinct is no. But if I talk to the customer, I want to say yes. And so like sometimes you get like really excitable and like collaborate with a customer and you're like, yeah, I absolutely want to build that. And you hang up and you're like, what did I just agree to?
Right.
And like, I didn't even tell product I was going to do this. That's not good. Like, so
well,
it's hard. You want to be part, you want to be, you want to end the call happy, or sometimes you just want to end the call and, agreeing to it, ends the call.
Right. Yeah. And it's,
if you sign on the dotted line, these features can be yours.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, and we used to have to be careful with that with engineers. And I just want to throw out there, when I say I was CTO, that sounds a lot bigger than it actually is. It wasn't that big of a company, so that's like an engineer for a regular company. But we had to be careful with engineers because almost every time that we got somebody who wasn't used to dealing with sales side stuff, which I had gotten used to dealing with, engineers will agree to almost anything. I can do that. I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that.
Because they want to feel good. They want to feel confident.
Yeah, but and they probably can do that.
Exactly. That's the thing. They can do it.
But they don't understand that what the customer hears is, I'll have it done next week.
Correct. And what I hear as engineering manager, I have to maintain what?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and it's just, it's not that it's a bad thing. I actually applaud the enthusiasm. It's just that you got to understand the psychology of customers, and that, if you say or allude to something, a lot of times they'll take that as a contracted promise, right?
We had that today. We were doing customer interviews with a new feature we're looking to build, and I don't think they fully realized that the prototype we were showing them wasn't the app. It wasn't done yet, and they were talking about how this would do what the other piece of software is doing, and how they could cancel that, and like the way they were talking about it very actively. And I had to be like, take it easy. This is like, we might build this. We want your input on if like this one or this one or this one is good to do. And they kind of like nod their head, and I hope they haven't canceled that other piece of software.
Yeah, dealing with, and when engineers start being exposed to the customer side of things, because as you progress as an engineer, you eventually will start interfacing with customers to some degree. It's important to pay attention to how your salespeople talk to those customers, and learn the psychology and the do's and don'ts of what you say, because talking in your engineering team, talking internally, has very different implications than talking to a customer about the same thing. And there's engineers don't tend to think about, well, what are the costs involved in what I'm saying, right? Because engineers just like to build stuff. That's a cool idea. I want to go build that and tinker and play with code.
I think some of the experienced engineers
well, sure, but that's what I'm saying. Once you get to the point of having to deal with the customers, that's when you start learning that, wait, if I say I can do this, I better be ready to do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that's a tough thing.
My approach when I'm on these calls, when I'm looped in as a salesman engineer, is I kind of speak when spoken to. I never pipe up and I'm like, oh, we can do that. Or like, it's like, it's they're going through their demo. They're like, oh, or that very specific question. And it's like, can you do this? Maybe, or obviously depending on the situation, or like, yes, you can do it this way, or so I think that's kind of an approach I have, of being like, not putting my foot in my mouth and signing us up for something that we probably won't do, or can't do, or won't do soon enough. Yeah.
Right. How often do you, and this brings up, because this is something I've kind of battled with on and off of my career, is when you're talking to a customer and talking to them about features and stuff, how often do you actually bring in engineers to before you start telling the customer and selling to the customer, to ask the engineers, okay, can we do this? What's the time frame? What's the impact on your side? How much of that do you do?
Yeah, I'm always going back to, I never set expectations with how it, like, there's certain little things, like let's say a new strategy for like finding numbers on a page or something like that. Like, I have an idea of how long it takes, but I still set the expectation of like, it'll take us a few days to do it when we have time to do it. Like when, like, like that's kind of it. It's like, I'm very careful about that, because I have made that mistake in the past of being like, yeah, that's not a big deal. And then Brittany's like, what?
No, he's totally right. I mean, we're in a unique situation at our company where every single customer has an account manager. And so we really kind of rely on them to manage those communications. But, the account managers are far removed from engineering and product. And so it's hard, and I think I mentioned this in the last episode I was on, but every single person in our company is in our engineering ticketing system, which is both wonderful and crazy dangerous. And so they might see a comment where an engineer says, this is going to be easy, I can knock this out, no problem. They might read it as like, we're going to do it tomorrow. So it's all about managing those expectations and really being on top of like what's escaping engineering and product and going outwards.
Right.
If you like this clip and want to watch another one, you can click right here Or if you want to watch the full video, you can click here.